Lance Ippolito joins me now. He's the publisher of Future Money Trends on the Wealth Press Network. Lance, welcome back.
Hey, James. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. How's your trading day going today?
It's been weird, very weird. There's more cases of the coronavirus. It sent the futures down about 20 handles, and now we're stabilizing. But the market's been pretty volatile this week. You had some rotation out of the big tech stocks like Apple, Facebook, Microsoft. And then today, pretty light volume, but we're starting to see some money flow into gold and bonds, some safety asset classes. So could start seeing more volatility in the markets.
Right. And so from an options perspective, what's the trade? What's the play today?
Michael's, the art store, actually. And that sounds really odd. And probably not a lot of people know that Michael's is a stock. It's very low price, only about $5, $5.50. But over 30,000 calls in Michael's have been trading today, and it normally sees not even 1,000 call options a day hit. And then Gilead, another name hitting the options market today, over 77,000 calls in Gilead. Most of these were short dated from next week, February 28th expiration to March expiration. I think what I'm hearing on the street is they're looking at a coronavirus possible cure.
Right.
And I think that's what these option players are betting on. Obviously, if they find some treatment for the coronavirus, Gilead stock should see a nice bid to the upside.
Sure, you bet. So have you been looking for stocks and option plays that are directly correlated to the coronavirus?
I took some Gilead today. It's up now. The stock's up about 3%. The call options are up about 20% already. And I literally just placed a trade about 30 minutes ago. It is, in my opinion, when you play names with binary events, for example, let's say they do have positive news on a coronavirus drug, the stock will go up. If they do have a negative news on the coronavirus, the stock's probably going to see probably see some downside. So limiting your risk in the options market is what I prefer to do. So that's why I'm playing it.
So do you sort of hedge your trades in the options market, go long and short?
I don't personally, just because I like to trade directional options, and I'm what we call a premium buyer, or if I buy calls, I'm buying premium. I'm not an option seller.
Okay.
What you can do to limit risk is spread out your trades. Like instead of buying outright calls, you could buy call spreads. Or if it's in your risk management, and let's say you're very long a specific stock or the market, buying some downside puts as protection, or like a volatility product like the VIX or VXX. That's always something one can do. I think it really just depends on how much risk are you comfortable holding.
Right. Okay. So in this market, does the cannabis space do anything for you?
Actually, and I was having this conversation yesterday. It seems that there may be a trade in cannabis, and the trade is, I'm exposing my secrets already. Yeah, it's like, the trade is, expose it. No. But we saw the Democratic debate, right?
Yes.
And it looked to be, from the polls and, from the media, that Bernie won, or Bernie did well enough, we'll say, not to get into politics. The next day, the cannabis stocks had a crazy bid to the upside. I think Tilray at one point was up about 12%. You had Canopy Growth, Cron, all these names up about 5+%. So it looks to be the trade, especially if you don't want to be committed to some cannabis stocks for months or longer dated,
right,
is to get in the day before the debate, possibly limit your risk with some options, and look to take profits the next day. You could catch a pretty large move. I mean, a 12% move in Tilray. Some of those options paid about 200 to 300% overnight.
Wow.
And really just hope Bernie performs well and he starts doing well in the polls. Again, I think if Bernie starts building momentum, the cannabis stocks, I think investors will be pouring in cannabis stocks.
Yeah, you bet. And what about gold? Gold has been on fire lately. Do you do any options trading that are correlated to gold?
Yeah, so two names I like are Barrick Gold, so GOLD, and
Good
then
symbol,
Newmont NEM.
right?
They have very liquid options, literally a couple pennies wide. They trade really good volume in the stock and the options, and they move really well. An options trader can also play an ETF like the GDX or the GLD. Those are also potential very liquid names that one can play. I personally just like singling out a gold stock, especially if I have a background with it and I'm pretty familiar trading it.
Right. So those are large cap miners. That's your sole focus. You don't get into the mid tiers or juniors.
I don't in the options market just because when you start looking at names that don't trade as much volume as those large cap ones, the options market can get a little illiquid, meaning the bid and the ask is going to be a little wide. And as a trader, you want that tight bid ask. I had some members today play around with the Nugget, which is the 3 times leverage ETF. Those are for the people who have some guts, who really like getting leveraged in
Right.
those gold names. But as long as the stock moves, I'm pretty much open to trading anything.
Yeah, interesting. So tell me about your publication, The Future of Money, Future of Wealth, rather. What is the focus?
So what we see in trading in 2020 is we're seeing a large shift into options trading, into your online brokerage platforms, into mobile trading as well. And what I try to do is give real educational tips from my experience in trading for the future of wealth. And we post it on the website. I shoot probably 5 videos a week or so that I upload on real time. This is real time with stocks moving in the market, what I see from overall market direction, and mostly, again, option strategies out there, just because when I started, there was very little YouTube videos. There was a few books on options, but they were mostly selling options.
Mm-hmm.
And as traders, the number one thing is obviously to make money, but risk versus reward. And I try to risk as little amount of capital possible to try to hit those big reward trades. So I'm not looking at 10 to 20% returns on my trades. I'm looking for 100, 200, 300% returns in my trading, and that's at the Future of Wealth what I try to give our members.
Wow. And in what kind of time frame?
I'm pretty short dated. I trade anything from weekly options to front month options to 3 month out options. Like, it's very rare I have a June position on or a September position on. It's really going to be a stock that I absolutely love, that I really want to hold it long term. It's just, for me, the more time you're in the markets, the more things that can go wrong. So if I could single out a trade for a specific event, I want to do that with my money.
Right. Very good. Okay, Lance. So then, what are you seeing? In terms of, like, we're hearing about the middle of Q1. What do you think is the longer sort of dated expectation for you in terms of the fundamentals of the market that are going to define your options trades?
So I was speaking with a hedge fund manager actually last week, and we were having this conversation of, well, until something drastic changes with the Fed or with the global markets, money's going to continue to pour into equities. And what's crazy is we're seeing equities, gold, and bonds go up in 2020 together. It's hard to be a bear right now, because we are seeing the markets go up, really, despite the coronavirus, with all the negative news. But it's also hard to be a bull. It's hard to want to buy this market when you know we're right near all-time highs, and we do have, from a macro point of view, so much negative news out there and so much uncertainty, especially in China, that it's hard for me to commit capital to the long side in a decent position size here. So if I do miss, let's say, the next 10% move in the overall market and possibly the next 20% move in a stock like Apple or Facebook, I'm fine with that. It's just I do think we see the market start to decline, and I want to be prepared for a possible 10, 15, dare I say 20% move lower.
Right. Right. Okay, Lance. Well, that's great intel as per usual. Really appreciate your input today. We'll come back to you next week. Thanks, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, James. I appreciate it.